I guess today we're gonna be talking about that one anime about the elf Yandere, as you know. I guess we should probably give it more in-depth talk about it, I guess, but not too much. Again, this is what I forget what episode they've been this for rambling, but essentially, if you lived under a rock, a long time ago, or about 5 years ago, six, I don't even know anymore. There was this one particular series from a hen wearing a tie where it was a yandere elf that followed the MC to a whole new world, right? Or to his original world. So basically, isekai, but then a reverse isekai. And that was an interesting premise. Back then, when I first read it, I was more interested at the idea that this could be a decent anime, I guess. Because, at the time, one of my favorite anime was uh, the Devil Was a Part-Time Worker or something like that. And that was a pretty good anime. Uh, so, uh, right now they only have 3 official chapters, right? Uh, I don't know if you can call them chapters, right? Chapters? I guess it's pretty long chapters. Uh, where it's, the not safe for work version, right? And naturally, I'm curious about the anime that came out. Uh, there's officially 11 episodes, and it kind of rebranded more along the line as a ecchi anime, I want to say. Uh, I tried watching it. I'm like 11 episodes into it, and I'm like, I don't know, man. My heart was just not into it. Uh, if I have to give it a rating, it would be like 3 or 4 on the scale, like on 10, like 3 or 4 on the out of 10. I don't know. The art style is okay. Uh, so in a nutshell, the series pretty much is just 10 minutes. She does this, and it's like a slice of life type of situation. Then it just goes into like it just cuts out, plays the intro, the outro, then it just goes to chibi format. Like the special episodes usually comes out in, and I'm like, okay. I mean, it's on Prime too. Uh, I don't know. I just did not enjoy it as much, I guess. Because the premise sounds really amazing. Like, a reverse isekai after an isekai. That sounds very interesting. Because rarely do we see that type of stuff. Uh, and at times, I don't know how to say this, but the story feels like it lacks substance, right? Because we know what they're doing, we know what she's up to, we know that she will always, at the end of the day, will be with the MC, right? But I don't know, it just feels lackluster. Because, I don't know, like, they do add fan service, right? Like the infamous beach fan service type of stuff from anime. I enjoy it and everything, right? But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, man. The dynamic feels a bit weird. And it's like, I don't know. What even is the goal of the series at the end of the day? And that's something even I'm not entirely sure how to describe it. Because they kind of achieve it already. I always wanted to see more yandere animes out there, but it's like, I don't even know what even is the point. Because I've seen many types of anime. Some are slow burners than other, and I don't know. I just could not get through it as much, and I feel like I have to force myself to watch the anime itself. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's because my mind developed. I'm more of an adult nowadays, right? And it's like, I don't know, man. This anime doesn't feel like something I would be into, right? Maybe it's because I read the original material and that's why it felt a little bit lackluster. I don't know. On one hand, I'm like, cool, we got a neon anime. I don't know. It feels a little bit below mid. Like, I know they put their heart and soul into it, I guess you could say. Chibi format, a little bit more story into it, but it's like, I don't know. Uh, Maybe this is a studio behind it. I can't tell for sure. I think it's the lack of story. Like, there's no, like, what is the end goal we have in mind, right? Because with, let's see. I guess a good example of this would be, like, lately I've been watching this new anime, which is about the can a girl and boy relationship survive, something, something, I forget. Uh, Essentially, the goal is to see is will they end up together or not? Will they end up hooking up, etc., etc. With this anime, you kind of know that they're already canonically, or at least I think it's canon, right? That they ended up doing it. So it's like, I don't know, man. The story kind of slowly builds up to the MC getting reunited with his childhood friend, which they may or may not end up. Can I don't know. I don't know if I can call them childhood friends. Can I? I guess friend, neighbor. I don't even know anymore. Or they do end up being together. I don't know. At the end of the day, I think it's okay. Not exactly something I was excited to watch every week. I was just like, I don't know, man. I didn't feel into it as much. Like, lately, I don't know. I just hope that if they ever do choose to rebrand again or to restart the series again, or maybe do like a prequel or something, I think they should focus on what did the MC do originally when he got isekai, and how he slowly won her over, and all that stuff, right? Like, she was just normal-ish, right? You do get a bit of backstory about them, but it'd be interesting from that angle to see what did he do in that original world. Like, how much did he basically did, right? Like, what was the hardship of him leveling up and all that stuff. And I think that'd be more of an interesting angle to learn about. Like, we do learn about it in chibi formats and flashbacks and here and there, but it's like, I don't know, man. I think we're lacking, like, an angle boss. Something for them to overcome, right? Something to push the narrative, right? Other than that, and I'm being very generous, but I'm gonna say 4 out of 10 as my final rating. Man, I did not enjoy it as much. Other than that, not really. I've never really talked about my fascination towards zero, or the definition of absolute nothingness. To me, it's a little bit of a beauty towards it. A lot of people may find me strange or crazy or freaking insane for having a fascination towards the absolute of nothingness. Because in life, we can say that we can never truly guarantee zero in life, right? Like, for example, I can tell you, hey, your chances of dying to a cow may be less than 1%, but it's never zero, right? Or that I might magically turn into a freaking, a freaking demonic endgame boss. I can say this less than 0% chance, no, less than 1% chance, but it's never zero, right? Maybe not in this timeline, maybe some other timeline had that happen, who knows. But yeah, absolute zero or complete zero, the absolute nothingness is such a conundrum to speak about. I think even young Sheldon did like a bit of that, something about how zero might not even exist, which is a bit of a paradox when you think about it. Other mathematicians also talk about that, but it's more of a placeholder to represent nothing, because you can't really prove that nothing exists per se. I mean, I can say like, hey, I have 10 apples. You take away my 10 apples, I have 0 apple, right? Which is a fair analogy, okay? But you can also say that my whole analogy itself is completely nonsense because it doesn't even exist, because I don't physically have 10 apples. Or I can be like, oh, hey, You know that room I had apples in? I got rid of it, and it's just an empty room, right? Can you really say there's nothing in there? I mean, there's atoms, there's the walls, there's the floors, right? But absolute zero or nothingness is a bit of a hard complex, right? Uh, I know I'm sure like if I ever do like end up dying or something, some guy's gonna look up in this episode and be like, "This guy was mad shit insane. This fascination is zero." And it's a very complex thing to talk about, right? Uh, I will say this much. My philosophy back then when I was younger was that I did not matter. I don't really matter at the end of the day. This is something I've always talked about. It was an individual. I met him a long time ago. He isn't with us anymore, but he was a true nihilist. And I don't mean nihilist that, like, look at depressed memes or laugh at them or laugh at not safe for work, self-harming content and say, oh yeah, life has no meaning. He believed that nothing had meaning in it. He was a true nihilist at heart. A nihilist that taught me so much in a weird way, as you would think. A lot of people would say, like, for example, what's even the point of helping people? And he will look at it and say, like, well, what's the point of even thinking of that? I mean, there's nothing stopping me from helping him, is there? There's nothing obligating me to do it as well. I mean, he might as well do it. He might as well not do it. And he still help out people. That's something to really think about. I don't know. I don't know if I can truly spread true, absolute nothingness. I don't know. I've looked into the whole like scientific research that goes into it, and I'm like, it's a pretty interesting theory for now. But I'm under the impression that true nothingness, absolute nothingness, has to be like its own separate dimension. At least I'm under the impression that it could be. Or at the very least that if you were to enter such realm, your very existence and all timeline, alteration, history, everything of you would just disappear entirely. Like, no one would remember or even acknowledge that it even existed. And that's something I always think about. It's like, how powerful would that be to be able to control that? Because in theory, you could erase every bad person in existence. Because one of the many struggles of facing, political opponents, people who are truly, or I would argue would be more along the lines of being evil, right, is to erase their ideology. Because the new generation will always find their ideology indirectly or willingly and just spin it off to a more newer audience in a newer way. And that's something I've always think about. Absolute nothingness being used to erase someone completely. If it ever came down to it, I kind of wish it was also used on me, especially when I expire, my life expires, to be used on me. I have my reasons for it, but it would be an interesting premise. I don't know. For some people, this might sound like a whole ass crazy ass speech. Trust me, I've seen more people with the most craziest freaking speeches out there, or the most fucked up ideology out there. This is a little bit more plain, in my opinion. But yeah, other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.